Mr. Speaker.
The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Using the Mary Poppins theme, that speech was meant to be supercalifragilistic, expialidocious, but the sound of it was really quite atrocious. And to use the Rolling Stones theme, it was enough to make a grown man cry. Mr. Speaker, this is meant to be Wednesday's backbenchers debate day. But the National Party led off with 3 of their cabinet ministers, all from where? Auckland. Why? Because Auckland's in crisis. And as for the Klingons from the ACT, the Maori Party and the United Party, they didn't want to hear the debate. Not at all. Tomorrow you're going to see, like snow from the budget, a smattering of snow on the Southern Alps. It will appear to be good. It'll appear to have substance, but then when it's subjected to some sunlight, it's going to evaporate away. And it's quite sad to be in this House to see a backbench in the National Party shut out, dejected into despair, watching these polls and knowing that their obituary's been written for them. They know that. This budget will lack substance. It'll be full of spin and well-managed PR on a plethora of stats as a misconception that all in New Zealand is well. Now, we all know that this country is cowering at the feet of foreigners these days. We know that China sets the tune and the National Party dances. It will ignore the budget tomorrow, the regions and the provinces. It'll be obsessed with the nightmare they've created in Auckland in every area. Roading, rail, houses, hospitals, schools, everything's under stress in Auckland, and they are panicking at last, and the backbench knows it's too late. And out in the province which they represent, there'll be no money. There'll be a dog whistle. They might even announce a motorway all the way to Whangarei. But they haven't put in 1 metre of the Puhoi to walk with highway yet. Not 1 metre after 8 long years, the time Mr. Mitchell has been here. Exactly. Which begs the question, Mr. Mitchell, when are you going to stand up for Northland? Speaker, it will ignore the foreign, it'll ignore foreign corporates paying, for example, like Facebook, a lousy $42,000 a year tax. $42,000 a year for that massive international corporate tax. Or Tegel Chicken paying 0.38%. Not 1%, no, 0.38%. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask this question. Will it stop a tsunami of money flooding out of New Zealand? No. Will it stop foreign corporates taking our water to make millions of dollars in profits? No. Will it stop this country being a tax haven for the mega wealthy? No. A tax haven for money launderers and criminals, putting our international nation reputation at risk? No. And will it stop our society becoming more fragmented, more dislocated, and the gap between the rich and the poor becoming an even greater chasm? Will it stop middle New Zealand suffering to an extent we have never seen in generations? And on the questions of law and order, will it have more police so that at least 3 out of 10 burglaries, not just 1, gets an investigation and 9 don't? Will it do anything for the thousands now living in New Zealand in rough, on streets, in parks, in cars, not for a lifestyle choice, but because John Key's government can offer them nothing? Will it do that? No. I want to say very clearly that this country wants a vision from the National Party tomorrow after 8 long years. We've waited long enough. They've said enough. Crikey, they've cut down more forests to print their propaganda than to build homes in this country. They've cut down more forest to put out their propaganda than to build homes in their own country. The public has had a guts full of wishful thinking, over-optimistic forecasts, and this man who always says he's aspirational, Mr. Spray and walk away. You've had 2 days, classic examples. He makes a statement, he gets asked, "Did you say that?" And he said no. It's his quote. Got a minute to go?
No, a lot less than that. 14 seconds.
14 seconds. Well, in my closing 14 seconds, I want to say this. Every budget should contain facts that are calculated against the numbers that they apply to. This budget won't. And last of all, let me say this. The so-called rock star economy is now well and truly a snowflake, melting away before our very eyes. The great news for New Zealanders out there, though, from the meetings we've had in places like Pukekohe
Members'
and
time
Gore,
has expired.
is it helps on its way.